Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This is the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again with your host Nick Scopes and the Gregolicious. You know how we do, cause you know we keeping it gangster and silly. Unplugged like a full swung titty. Bout get jitty, cause you know we down to the nitty and the gritty. And we make shit sound so damn pretty. Yeah, cause this unhinged comedy. And right now you're in the mix, so get ready, cause we bout to get it poppin', and we ain't stopping. Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again. Yeah, we at it again. Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again. Yeah, we at it again.
All right, it's finally over.
What was that Wu-Tang wannabe shit that I was just listening to?
It said Mangina like
Mangina.
7 times.
The Mangina monologues. Here we go. 3 Manginas and an actual vagina. We're all set. And we're ready to go.
Greg might have one. We don't know yet.
Whose song is that?
Tell him, Greg.
So good.
I got a puppet guy.
Puppet guy?
You got to see it. It's the only way.
I have a guy for everything. I don't got a
even
puppet guy.
understand.
That's a Sicilian thing.
Yeah.
It's a
You got a guy.
I got a guy. Oh my gosh, so the puppets sang Mangina?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm
Nice.
so happier in my life.
He got that done on Fiverr. Paid $15 for this song.
Let me tell you something.
So
That's
good.
better than most of the shit that they're claiming is rap these days.
It's pretty bad.
I mean, most of the crap that's rap now is just
Mumble rap.
It's
Yeah.
it's algorithm bullshit. It all sounds the same. We had to go to a club one night. I'm like, have they changed the song? She's like 5 times. I'm like, really?
That's just
The
because you're
fuck?
old. That's
Dude,
because you're
I
old.
maybe yeah, I am old, but I actually remember rap when it was rap.
Man, I'm with you. It's depressing to like
No, it's bad.
hear that
It's
We
not.
used to
shit.
have,
like
we
any-
used to have Cop Killer and Fuck the Police. Now we have a bunch of mumbling pieces.
I'm up for any song that says Mangina at all.
Done by puppets.
And I can't pull it up on my phone. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so first question always is, what'd you think of that song?
Hey, it was awesome. That was great.
Everyone always like, I play it. The worst part of the podcast is playing it, and then like the people listening. I'm like, oh fuck,
I love
hate
it.
us already.
It's
Is it
so
playing,
good.
Greg?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is
Who's
awesome.
which one's the Mangina one?
That's like
I feel like it's the guy with the pink
rapper
name.
Bert and
The
Ernie.
Kid and Play looking guy on the
Oh,
right.
it's so
Of
good.
course.
Yeah.
So Bert and Ernie went
Oh,
urban.
it's so good.
It's
You just
awesome.
need like one dude barking in the background, or like an actual dog.
It's an actual dog, yeah, like the insult comic dog, just every
I'll
once
do
in a
the
while.
sound for it.
For me to poop on.
That's
Perfect.
next. Next, we're gonna go with a 6 to 8 person puppet video.
That's
So good.
I'm in.
You need like puppet thoughts.
It's $5 a puppet.
oh shit. Now we're talking $30 here. I mean, this is crazy.
It's way too much.
And they write the song and everything. It was great.
Well, guys,
Oh god, I love it.
thank you for coming to this abandoned apartment in Manhattan and trusting
Manhattan's
that
Upper West
Anthony,
Side.
yeah, that Anthony's friend wasn't a complete weirdo.
Yeah, it's good. It was Sicilian. You know, it's
You
like-
get it, right?
Yeah.
I literally remember the first time, like, talking to you on the phone, and, like, I think the second sentence you said to me was like, yeah, you know, a little ball grab under the table or some shit like
it's
that.
probably something.
Sounds like
And I was
something
like,
you'd say.
Anthony was right. This is our people.
Yeah.
This is exactly.
Did Anthony ever tell you we were a friend of ours who, those of you who are listening,
Yes,
so we're talking
Anthony.
about a mutual friend. We needed a warehouse for the Shop DD box stuff.
Right.
And we bunch of stuff. And another paisan, Phil Splendorio, sends me up to see.
Splendorio?
Yeah, Splendorio sends me
That
up to
sounds
see.
like a low-fat Oreo.
Let's not pick on Phil. He's good people.
Phil, that's
Right?
Phil's last name?
Phil sends us up to
Oh my
Lenny,
God.
Lenny and Anthony Baccarella. Victor Cipolla shows up. I swear to you, it was like the commission meeting in upstate New York. We're like, hey, what's going on? I text my wife. I'm like, they're Sicilian. She's like, oh, shit, we've got a warehouse, right? I'm like, yep. That was the end of that.
Then the Lufthansa heist. So it was
like
right after.
we were trying to plan
they
out what to
left.
do with.
They left New York shortly after that.
Yeah, it's like.
And never came back.
It was like the Appalachian Conference. We were carving up the 5 families. It was like I was taking the Lower Manhattan. I think Lenny got Staten Island. It was all good.
It's amazing.
Do you love Lenny?
Oh God, Lenny's I love Lenny.
Dude,
Lenny's
he's
awesome.
like one of those dudes. Like, I don't know what it is about being bald and Sicilian. It just makes
That's
you
the thing.
awesome. But you know, you just get swag and all that shit.
Oh, he's hysterical.
Right?
Us Northern Italianers must have kept the hair. We got the
Yeah,
hair.
no,
You guys are Swiss.
You got.
It's not even Italian.
Well, it's my new favorite guest. Already.
A funny story. We went on our honeymoon to Italy. We went to northern Italy. I'd have actually had never been. I'd only been south.
Okay.
And I kept telling my wife that Sicilians in northern Italy were not liked. She didn't believe me. We get to Montepulciano, and they see my last name. My last name is Cipolla. It means onion in Italian. She goes, "Oh, Cipolla, Italiano?" I went, "No, Siciliano." She turned her back on me and went, "Oh." She said, "Don't say where you're from
Yeah.
ever
Yeah, it's
again."
like you're not allowed to
That
say you're
happened to me.
Sicilian.
That happened to me at the customs in Portugal. I was flying through to go to Italy, and they were like, Scopaleri. And I was like, yeah, they like, you speak Italian? I was like, nope. I know the curse words.
Yeah, I know the good words. Yeah.
Grandma didn't teach us none of that. She just taught us like how to say, fungul and all that.
Spacim, and yeah. It's like,
All the curse words. Oh, what a great time. You guys are the best
Oh, boy.
already.
Oh,
So
boy.
we didn't even introduce you guys.
Or what the fuck we're doing here?
It's okay.
Like, what is this?
I'm Anthony's friend. Just
Welcome
This
to
is
this.
Anthony's friend,
I'm
Vic
Vic.
Gabagool.
Yeah.
And we're here with Dani Daniels, his wife.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's
How
up?
are you?
I'm good.
Flew all the way in from Ghana today. That's cool.
Man, that was a tough flight.
How's nursing school in Ghana or
Oh,
whatever
and
you're doing?
if you could just send me a couple iTunes cards, I'd appreciate it. Someone's gonna cut that up and fucking use
Oh
it.
yeah, no shit. That's on
I
the
feel
internet.
bad. I feel bad for you guys, man. Like people just. I mean, how many a day?
Anywhere between 20 and 30 a week
That's insane.
That reach out.
that reach out.
Yeah.
Like
Like a normal person gets scammed and doesn't say anything because they're
Yeah.
embarrassed. I feel like.
I'd say about 15 out of the 20 usually realize they've gotten
Had.
scammed, and yeah, they wind up actually some become fans. They actually wind up, like I kind of feel bad for them. Then there are the other 5, man. They get violent. They threaten. They're gonna go to the FBI. We're like, have a field day, man. Please, do us a favor. Go to the FBI, please. We tried. It didn't work. Like, you know what the FBI told us? Do you know how many of these we deal with a day? He's like the New York City office at something like 30 or 40,000 scams a day.
A day?
A day.
So
Wow.
like, this is like someone sending an email.
Yeah.
Who they know? Is
I
it
mean-
literally from Ghana or
Yeah,
just
yeah,
using
no,
Ghana?
yeah. It's
Is
like
it-
Ghana and Nigeria are like the cornerstone. I mean, it happens everywhere, but they are really. They have these, from what we understand and from what I've researched, they basically have these, like a boiler room. You know, the old school boiler rooms.
Yeah.
They have a boiler room set up where they just basically full of dudes who pretend that they're adult film stars.
Yeah.
They send the photos out to. They try and find guys who are like older and might not know who they are.
In like some random ass town,
Yeah.
random ass
It's like the
place.
scams that you get. I mean, I get at least, I probably get 20 a week
Yeah.
in my junk mail that are like, you've been caught jerking off and we have you on video and
I love it
we're-
when they send me those.
we're
I don't
gonna
get
we're gonna
those.
send them to all your friends and family
Please.
and email. I'm like, go ahead, have at it, have a good time.
Send it
like,
to him anyway.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to impress somebody.
It's like, yeah, I mean, they do it, and it works.
Not for me yet.
Yeah, Al, you got to try a little harder.
I know. You gotta go at it a little harder.
So Vic, why are people so dumb? Why do they fall?
You got me beat, man.
When I was reading your book, by the way, your book Waiting for the Corn, I loved it. I read, and I think I texted you that day, or DM'd you, whatever. I got through 80 pages in
Yeah.
like one shot, and I texted Anthony that, who's known me since I was 14. He goes, dude, you've never done that.
That's what he said to me. He goes, he
With
hasn't read 80
anything.
pages, period.
I gotta tell you, I didn't even know Nick knew how to read.
Yeah.
Really.
Unless it was like a training book, I just never gave a fuck.
Yeah.
I really did.
And the training book was only pictures.
Yeah, it was like,
It was coloring. It was normal stuff. Puppeteers, things like that.
the
Normal
important
shit.
things.
Right. But I finished the book today, actually, on the train. It was awesome. It was kind of what made you want to write it?
You know what? I
'Cause I
just
feel
got
like
a bug.
it's so hard. You just got the bug.
I just got a bug. Yeah, just one day I was like, all of this shit that's been going on. I mean, I write basically for a living. I wrote speeches for politics. I'm a PR guy, so I write all the time. And I'm like, out of hell with it. I'm just gonna write this down and give it a shot. And I just kind of churned it out in about 6 months. Literally just churned it out in about 6 months, and then the editing process, which was torture because I'm dyslexic and my poor editors, multiple of them, had to constantly clean shit up. But yeah, I just got bored.
You just were getting. I mean, when you go through and you're reading it, you're reading this thing, and you're like, yeah. I just kept going like in my head, like, yeah, he's right. Yeah, yeah. That's what he's talking about today. Like what's going on with people today and how they're treating other people on social media and all this shit.
It's funny. There's a bunch of people out there now. You got guys like Gary Vee and that guy Stephen Bartlett that we'll look at, who talk about this regularly. Like, come on, man. I mean, this is the Matrix. Social media is the Matrix. It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Yeah.
Stop thinking it's real. Stop thinking anybody's life is either that good or that bad. Cut the crap,
Right. It's just, I really enjoyed the book, man. It was like I was talking to not to date you or anything like this, but it was like I was talking to my dad. He was just like,
couldn't you go with uncle?
Just like an older uncle. He only has sisters, so I don't have to tell you.
Again, I'm winning today because usually I'm the one that he says that
But
about.
like an older Sicilian man is like, this is all bullshit. So is this. This is dumb.
Yeah, Sebastian Maniscalco's dad. That's what I've become at this point. What the fuck? You got a problem? What? Come here, let me smack you in the head. It's all over and done with.
Have you watched his new special?
Oh God, yeah. That was actually a Christmas gift. I got to go see Sebastian Maniscalco. We sat front row and laughed my ass off.
Here at Radio City?
Madison Square.
Oh, Madison Square. I just saw him in LA at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
He just did 15 minutes, and I was not a big fan of his. I watched his specials, and I don't know, there was something that I just didn't jive to that well with. And I saw him on the lineup, so I have not laughed that hard. Ever. I'm now the biggest fan. Like I definitely wet the bench I was sitting on. There's no question about it. Like I left and they had to call in an extra cleaning crew. It was awesome.
Guy with a hazmat suit comes out.
2 hazmat suits. A lot of gloves.
We had it was literally right after Christmas Eve, and those of you in the room who are Sicilian or Sicilian by ejection have survived a Christmas Eve in a Sicilian household.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, being a kid and doing the parties in the garage and having to go downstairs and get the table and unfolding it. And she's losing it because we just did that.
Yeah.
Like 2 days earlier, we're carrying the table up from the basement to set it up for Christmas Eve.
Yeah. I used to do that every Sunday.
Yeah.
At my aunt's in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Every single Sunday. We'd have like 30 people for dinner at 11:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And set up 9 different tables and...
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It's funny how scary accurate some of the things are, he says.
Very.
I watched it with my father, and my grandfather was Sicilian, my grandmother was Calabrese, and they just fought constantly, and it was just insane. But he was he was talking about the time where about how immigrant parents don't sign permission slips, and my dad just looks at me and he goes, yeah. like a ghost. He was like, your grandparents never did any of this. And I was like, holy shit. Like every joke, he was like, yeah, that's what your grandparents did.
Oh,
Nails
absolutely.
it. Each thing. They're always the same. Even Anthony and I talk about our dads, same thing.
Oh, yeah.
They get mad at the
Lenny and
dumbest
I
shit.
are pretty much the same age. I might as well be Anthony's dad at this point.
Yeah, they tell you, go get the thing in the drawer to the left.
The thing. You know what I mean? Get the fucking thing.
And I'm like 9, and I'm like, I can't find it. And he's like, you know those words, those fucking rap songs, but you don't know where the thing is? You're not going out. What? What are you talking about? It's just all unbridled
my
anger.
childhood is just flashing before my eyes.
So you're from New York originally?
Yeah.
Where in New York?
My parents are from, actually my dad was from the Upper East Side, my mom was from Brooklyn, and then they did the trek out to West Islip, which is about 73% Italian. I'm not even. I wouldn't even joke. I was like, I showed my wife my high school yearbook. The C's. We had 3 homerooms for the C's. CA to CI, CI to CO, and CO to CU because there were so many damn guineas, and everybody had a freaking C name, and they were all a mile long. Cologio, I mean, it was, and that was just the C's, Like we allowed other people in there. There were a few Irish and Germans, and that was about it. That was the entire town I grew up
2 Jews,
with. Yeah.
maybe.
2 Jews, and
they owned a bagel shop.
My cousins were half Puerto Rican, so that was the end of that. Like we were done.
Oh my God, Danny, where are you from originally? You're from
California.
California.
Yeah.
Where in Cali?
Orange County.
All right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Southern Cal girl, OC girl.
Did you love that show?
No, I fucking hate Southern California.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's not my scene. I shouldn't say I hate it, but it's not my scene. I like the East Coast.
Prefer the East Coast.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got it all in one package right
Yeah,
there. So.
I'm married to the East Coast,
You're married
literally.
to the. You couldn't have picked
New York.
more East Coast.
New York.
It's our incredibly
I like you.
humid summers that make it the absolute best in the world.
New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, even today I was sweating. Walking over my balls were sweating. I was crazy.
I know, it's on the couch now.
Have you ever been to LA when it's 114 in the shade?
Yes, every day.
I have many
Sucks.
times. I spent half my time in LA.
It sucks.
It's,
God awful.
It's
I don't care
not-
whether it's humid or not humid. 114.
I mean, 115
Yeah.
to 115.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
that's a
You cut
London
it.
broil setting.
Yeah.
That is not temperature.
It's true. I stay in this hotel in Studio City, and I hang out in this bar, like maybe it's one block. And literally it was so hot from walking from the lobby of the hotel to the front door of the bar, I had to change my shirt 3 times.
I'm not surprised.
About 300 feet.
Did you ever really see anyone walking in Los Angeles?
No.
Nobody walks there.
No. Even the homeless
nobody
stay still.
even knows that it's hot there because everyone's in their cars with air conditioning.
I almost drove.
It's all facade.
People who know me well know that this is true. I'm not kidding. It was 1 block out, driveway, cross Ventura. Cross La Cienega, not La Cienega. Oh my God, Coldwater. It's the next block, and I was thinking about driving.
What were you thinking?
To valet.
Most LA people would have driven.
To valet park. I'm like, they have valet parking. It'll be comfortable. It'll be fine. No one's gonna know. And then everybody would know. It'd be fine. I'm that guy that drove from Sportsman's Lodge to Hyperion 600 feet away.
People drive to the gym there, so.
Yeah, well, I've done
Around
that
the
so many
corner.
times.
Is it really that bad? I've never been to Southern California.
You can live without it.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like the East Coast?
That's all I really know. I mean, I grew up
If you
northeast
like
my
the
whole
East
life.
Coast, then you would hate Southern California.
You see, I
If
have
you-
to interject in that because I grew up in both places, in Southern California and here in New Jersey, outside the city, and I would pick SoCal.
New
Every
Jersey
day.
Yeah, but
sucks.
do you like that better? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's rare that you find someone that likes both coasts. Usually you're team 1 or team 2.
Which is Team 1.
I don't
New
know.
York.
I'm Team 2.
Yeah.
New York.
It's just a matter of preference.
Yeah, no,
you
of
know
course.
what I mean?
Florence, you like one and you don't like the
Like,
other.
I
It's
don't like Southern
Right.
California, but I love New York.
My wife won't have anything to do with Southern California.
Yeah.
She's a smart woman.
She won't have anything to do with
Maybe
it.
if I didn't grow up there, I think I've just been very.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of it. I like the snow.
I like San Diego. I just
Right.
despise LA. I like San Francisco. I like San Diego. Some of the coast I love. But LA is the anti-New York. Everything New York is, LA isn't. And
100%.
vice versa. Period. There's just so if you love New York, you're gonna hate LA.
But I love New York too. It's like a hard choice. But
Not really.
I'm losing that. I won one thing today. I'll take it. I'll lose everything else. It's fine.
You're the first coastal switch I've met.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Usually
Never-
people
really?
like one or the other.
God damn.
I was turned.
I've never
Depends on
been,
your
so I
mood.
can't really.
Well, it's because if you noticed, he said he was from New Jersey.
What's
That's
wrong?
true. Everything.
Oh.
Everything's wrong in New Jersey. Everything. You don't have to even finish the sentence. He knows.
Do you not remember every bad driver in New York? What the plate says?
But there's bad drivers in LA.
Oh, that
People
always
can't
just
even
says
drive
LA.
in the rain there.
What is it about LA you didn't like? I mean, you obviously grew up there. That's number one.
I
right?
grew up in Orange County, went to college in San Diego, and then I lived in LA for 10 years while I was shooting. And it's just, I don't know, like, I like New York because I could walk everywhere. I sat in traffic for like 3 to 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
It just, the people there are very fake. It's who do you know? How can I use you to get ahead? Where New York is very like, let's work together. Everyone here has a job and works. I don't know what people do for money in LA.
It's so
Except
funny.
for like drug dealers. Like, I don't know what anyone does there for work.
That's the one thing that baffles me. That
It's like-
I'm like, what are all these people doing in
In
yoga
coffee
pants
shops.
Yeah.
at 1
At
o'clock in
a-
the afternoon on a Tuesday?
Exactly. Nobody
just
works.
Going from Coffee Bean to Starbucks to Whole Foods. Like, what are you doing? How are you? And they're all driving beauously nice
Yeah.
cars, and
Yeah.
like something is going on that I don't know
It's a
about.
secret that I
but
wanted.
I want that coupon to Lululemon too.
Exactly.
It's called trust fund, buddy.
I don't
It's
think
called
it is.
trust
Or
fund.
that's what if that's what
Credit
you
cards.
enjoy. Like for me, like I'm a workaholic. New York is very much my scene. So
Okay.
I guess if you like being vegan and wearing yoga pants 24/7, LA's great. But just it's
Definitely
not
not
for
the
me.
vegan shit. I don't
I
get
like
that.
urine on the
Cooking.
streets and pizza.
That.
Amen. I do too.
I'll wear yoga
Grime
pants.
and neon and sirens.
People
and,
telling me to go fuck myself. I'm into
and that's
it.
my doorman in the morning. Go fuck yourself. Hey, nice to see you too.
Dude, do you ever realize whenever I leave the Northeast and people make eye contact and like say hi to you, like if you go down south,
Yeah.
you're like, what the fuck's this person?
What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah.
No, you
I'm
can't have whatever
horrified.
it is you're gonna ask for.
Horrified, man. My
I-
cousin's from Yonkers. She went to Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Oh yeah.
I went to visit her, and people kept saying hi to me, like constantly, on the street. And she saw it, and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And she's like, "I know it's weird, I know, but like they're being genuine." And I was like, "Are you sure?" Fuck these people. She's like, "I've been here 4 years. I promise, they're being genuine." I was like, "I don't know."
I have family in the South, and the first time Vic went, he wanted to get a coffee, and I thought he was going to have a goddamn heart attack because the woman was trying to, hey, how are you? Oh, where are you from? You have an accent. Like, what's, and he was like physically
You don't wanna be
shaking.
bothered.
Coffee black.
He's like, give me fucking coffee.
Coffee black.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Do you want cream or sugar black? Coffee, please.
Don't you know how this works?
Do you understand that until I have the coffee, you suck? When I'm done with the coffee, you suck just a little bit less.
You can ask me one question after the coffee.
It's such
Make it a
weird-
good one.
It's so weird. I went to visit. I told this story before, but I went to visit my buddy who lives in Portland, Oregon. You ever been there?
Oh, yeah.
The homeless people in Portland are having the time of their fucking lives, and I'm so confused by it because I grew up around here, and like, see guys sleeping in dumpsters. They have tents,
Oh, yeah.
girlfriends, dogs.
Go to downtown LA, it's the same.
They're really
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
selling
Downtown,
jewelry and
downtown
shit.
LA looks like a 1928 Hoover town with like people just living, you know, they're like living in tents underneath the overpass, or it's crazy.
I don't know.
It's the worst thing you ever would see.
Yeah.
That is crazy down.
It's bad out there.
Ugh.
Have you seen the LA River?
I,
River?
It-
In quote, air quotes.
It's just all brown.
I have, yes, right. You're talking about the one that's in like Studio City, Sherman Oaks. Okay, I don't
It's
know.
not
how-
like Greece where, you know, they're driving through and the water's...
Right.
No.
It-
This
Yeah, when
water's
we
so
watch-
thick the car would get stuck.
We just watched Body Double,
Body
and the scene
Double, yeah.
where like they're by the river. I'm like, that's not. Where is that in LA? That
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
exist.
That doesn't-
that
that's
was
not
like
a river.
1983, and we're like, that didn't even exist in 83.
No.
The Brady Bunch house is on the backside of it, though.
The real one?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Really?
Like, yeah, it backs up right to the LA River, is right behind the Brady Bunch house.
Famous split-level ranch they had there.
Yeah.
That
That's
was
so
a real
funny.
house.
Oh yeah.
I guess they had to have an exterior from something,
Oh
right?
yeah, that's true.
Dude, I feel like I'm talking to my family members. It's fucking crazy.
Do you
It's
ever
like-
like, we always have this conversation though. Do you ever notice like you get a bunch of Italians in a room, shit's just the same. What time do you eat dinner on Sunday? 2. How many people were there? 65.
I took
How
one
many
of-
were you related to? 65.
I took one of my friends when I lived in the city. I was like, "Why don't you come out to lunch with me to my aunt's house in the Bronx?" And he's an Irish kid from New Haven, Connecticut, right? Grew up in the projects of New Haven, Connecticut as an Irish kid, like probably the only one ever. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll come out with you." And we were both like cigar guys. And I was like, "I bought this awesome cigar for my uncle. I can't wait to give it to him." Go into my aunt's house, walk in. First thing I would always do is look in the oven to see what she's got cooking in the oven, right? Obviously, I know what's going to be on the stove. I want to see what's in the oven. I open it up, and it's a quartered lamb's head,
Of course.
right?
Gabagool, yeah.
And I'm like, oh boy, it's going to be one of those days, right? So I'm like to my buddy, I'm like, go check out what's in the oven. He's huge, dude. He screeched like you never heard a man screech before. And I'm like, what? It's a head of an animal. It's quartered. We're going to eat brains. He's like,
Gabagool.
yeah. And then I go to my uncle and I give him this one cigar, beautiful, like wrapped cigar. He looks at it and he's like, oh, that's a nice gift. What did it come? One to a box? Right?
Oh, that's so perfect.
And I'm like fucking so dejected. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, yes, it did actually come one to a box. Walked away crying. I'm like, I'm going to the pool hall.
Yeah, everything you do is wrong. I always tell a
Everything.
joke like if you could be in a relationship, if you could be in an Italian family, you're always wrong. You always gotta fucking apologize for something.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you
Then
do.
there's the rule of you always have to walk in the door, kiss every single one of your relatives, and you have to go from the oldest to the youngest, and God forbid you miss. God forbid.
It's funny.
25 years later, you don't like me and didn't kiss me that Tuesday back in fucking
I'm-
the guilt's
1968.
the
I'm
best.
still not invited to dinners at certain people's
yeah?
houses. So my father was Jewish. I have barely any Jewish side of my family. My wife's family is Jewish, but they're like terrorists. They're from Libya, right?
God bless
So
them.
they are like hardcore, but they're also very like Italian because it's so close to Italy. And I mean, they all
Same
speak.
corporation, different division.
They all speak fluent Italian, right? I mean, it's amazing. And they are the hardest core people I've ever met in my life. Like, if I was in the door, I had 3 seconds to get through 30 of them,
Or, yeah.
right? And if I
And
did
they're-
not
They're counting.
properly get to the oldest first, it was a disaster, and I felt it for years, right? I didn't show up to a dinner that I wasn't invited to. And to this day, I feel it from that person whose house it was. To this day,
Yeah.
I'm reminded of it at least twice a year. Like, you
Without
didn't
a
show up to
doubt.
dinner on Tuesday. I'm like, I wasn't invited to that fucking dinner. I've told you that 100 times.
Absolutely. And then there's also the pecking order, too. It's like, if you kiss an aunt before a grandmother,
Yes.
the grandmother's like, oh, I guess she's more important than I am. I was like, oh, they throw it
Oh
on.
boy.
Dude, my
Right.
grandmother used to do that. Oh,
Oh, God.
I'm having horrible flashbacks.
I am too. It's great.
Nicholas, can you help me?
Can we at
move
least get the
Friday?
food that comes with it?
Yeah.
You know, like, but you got great food. You know, there's enough food to kill a small army, and there were like 8 people eating.
That's the best. They never think there's going to be enough food.
I'm that way.
And there's too much. I do it too.
No, I'm that way.
For 2 of us, he cooks for 80 people.
Like,
There's no
there's
way
2
to
of us.
wait.
What are you making for
So
pasta? I'm like,
much
a box
food.
and a half of pasta. That's for 2, right? Isn't that the way this
Like,
works?
what are you doing?
Like, I don't know how to cook.
That's the biggest fear in the world of Italians: running out of food.
Never.
God
He makes like 40 meatballs for the 2
forbid.
of us.
That's not enough.
Can eat
That's what I
two
was
a week.
thinking.
Yeah, I could eat probably 15 right
No,
now.
he
at a
made.
clip.
He made.
Was,
I'm not gonna
was
lie.
like-
I
was
eat like
exactly-
3, and I'm full.
Remember being able to shop in your grandmother's pantry? Like, you could literally go shopping. You
yeah.
open up the pantry, there was like 47 bottles of jarred sauce.
Yeah, easy.
Canned goods since 1928 because of the Depression. Peaches, there was always like peaches, canned peaches. There's usually 46 bottles of 7-Up on the floor. It was a rule. It was like,
I know,
and,
like-
and jugs of wine. Either
Yeah.
it was made by somebody in the family, or it was like Carlo Rossi
Yeah.
crap. You know? It was like,
I knew I could count on 3 things. I could count on a box of spaghetti, a can of tomato pastes, and Italian tuna
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys
Italian
were
tuna.
good
in
at
oil.
that.
Like, I could count on it always. If I was hungry, I was like, that's it. I just could go steal some shit, be on my way.
Italian tuna? I don't remember that.
Italian, it's in olive oil.
Yes, tuna and olive
It's like
oil.
a little
Oh.
mini jar, right?
Yeah. My grandmother always had like gabardina or caponata, depending upon what part of Italy you're from.
Yeah.
There was always something there, and there was, remember kids would go to school and you would trade sandwiches. I went to a school where like sopressat and Asiago was better than Fluffernutter. What the fuck is this Fluffernutter shit? I don't get that. Somebody's got a gabardina sandwich on a big hunk of it. Shit's dripping out. You got sesame seeds on the bread.
Those were the best days when I was
okay.
in, not high school, but when I was in like junior high. There was a killer, like, old school Italian deli a couple towns away from where I grew up in New Jersey, and my mom occasionally would like go buy me an Italian cold cut hero and drop it off as a surprise. That was the greatest day of my life up
You were-
until
you
that
were a
point.
hero.
People were like, "What are you
Literally.
eating?" And I'm like, "This is the best shit ever. You're not allowed to touch it. Go back to your fucking peanut butter sandwiches."
Exactly.
That happened to me when I moved to Monroe, Connecticut. I lived in Mamaroneck, so I lived in Westchester, and I grew up there. My father owned a bagel store. Okay. We moved to Monroe. Some Italians where I met Anthony, but I mean, it was pretty white. You know what I mean? You're in the middle of the woods in Connecticut. My grandmother's coming to one of my first football games ever. She comes in the $3,000 fox coat that was my mother's.
Yes.
White fox
Yes.
coat coming down the hill. Everyone goes, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck." Oh, and she had a big green Cadillac at the time.
Hell yes.
And she came with there's a pizza party after the football games, and she came with a sandwich from my favorite deli.
Absolutely. And she
everyone
had,
was
she
like,
had
"What
a
the fuck is
purse
this?"
or a pocketbook that could carry 3/4 of her belongings.
Yeah,
It's like-
75 cough drops.
Yes.
Need them? We got
The
them.
Ludens cough job, so I was in there.
Yeah.
I'm saying, it doesn't matter where you were in Italian or what part you grew up, we all have the same
Yeah,
stories.
all.
I find that
You always
so
had
weird.
an aunt that had needed to shave. You know? It's like,
Yeah, my aunts got laser hair removal, both of them, on their faces. Had to. Had to do it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? She's like, what the fuck is happening?
I just shaved my mustache.
What nationality are you?
I'm Czech, Scottish, German, and English.
Wasp.
Yeah, basically.
The hairiest of the people.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck's a wasp? He's like, you.
Yeah.
It's like, should I be offended?
You are. How'd you guys end up meeting?
We've told the
I
story
love-
a few times, but
I
we,
love this story.
we met at a baby shower.
No.
Yeah.
We did. We met at
Yeah.
a baby shower.
Is it weird that baby showers are co-ed now? Isn't that kind of weird?
Yeah, not in this case. Wound up being a good thing for me. Not complaining.
The best baby shower
It's the
ever.
best baby
Whose
shower.
fucking baby shower were you
It was
at?
another.
Not mine.
It was another adult
Well,
film
yes.
star's baby shower.
And you, okay, and that's where you guys
in
met.
Calabasas, California.
Of course.
Places, yes.
Of course it was.
Oh, yeah.
Where else?
It's no
Oh
place
my
else
God.
but good old Calabasas.
There was literally no reason for me to be there at all, and she didn't want to go, and we were both miserable being there. We just kind of struck up conversation. We're friends for almost a year, and then I had a horrible breakup, and she decided to have one worse.
Why you gotta one-up them for?
Oh yeah, no.
Good for you.
No, believe me, neither one of us wanted to have the shitty breakups we had, nor one up the other one. And then we were both disgustingly horrible human beings who didn't want to be with anyone, and then we wound up getting married.
Yeah.
How long after?
Well done.
It was literally at the phase of I hate fucking everybody. So do I. Maybe we should date. Okay, that was the end of that.
Let's make this a legally binding contract.
6 months later, we were engaged. The year after that, we were married.
It sounds like a Cliff Note version, but that's actually what happens.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
God damn.
How long ago?
We'll be married 2 years in October.
October what?
The 23rd.
Nice.
Yeah, we've been together 3. So
Quick.
yeah,
Right into it.
was
But you guys, you hear you guys, the way you guys talk about each other and talk to each other on your podcast, and you're like, I get it. You guys are having fucking.
We were friends before, so it was
That's
like
what I mean.
easy.
You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell.
So what's your background is PR?
Yeah, I've done PR most of my life.
Right. That's pretty cool. And is that how you guys met previously?
No,
before?
no, literally we met at the baby shower.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
not
I
even
thought you
a
said
joke.
you were friends a year.
No,
for
we
that.
became friends from
Oh.
that, and then I started working with her for her artwork.
Right.
If you've seen the art that she does, and then it just kind of
Yeah.
we kind of tripped into this.
Right.
It was funny because everybody that knows us were like, yeah, we were just waiting. It's everybody thought there was something going on, and we were like, oh, well, I guess so.
So did you work in the adult business prior? So you just happened to be an
Yeah.
adult person, film star's
To
bridal
make-
shower.
To make this one step more bizarre, you needed an international celebrity scandal. I was repping somebody who was Charlie Sheen's ex-fiance, and it was at the time when he came out with the fact that he was
Yeah,
HIV positive.
right.
And I wound up in LA for a month and went with her to the baby shower. So, yeah, we needed an international celebrity scandal,
Right.
a baby shower, and of all places, Calabasas, California.
So did you know what she did as a profession before?
Yeah, I knew who
met her?
she was, but
Right.
I hadn't, I wasn't familiar with the work.
Right.
But I knew who she was. I knew
Wasn't familiar with
I wasn't, I wasn't
Have
up.
you seen me take a dick or what?
wasn't up on that.
Have you seen my resume?
You just pull it up. You're like, check it out. Just show them on your phone.
You want to apply to a
What an
co-op board?
appropriate baby shower. What if we take this huge dick?
Luckily. And then we had to do one of those stupid games where
Well, neither of us were really kid friendly,
Yeah.
so I sat in the back. We were back of the classers.
Yeah.
They're like, make this baby shower book. We're like, oh no.
And they're like,
My humor.
everybody gets a letter, and you have to do something baby oriented. So A is for anal, B is for blowjob, and these are baby friendly, right? And the
T's
two
for
of-
titties.
Yeah.
Can I?
You know,
ruin this child.
And instead of one of the two of us trying to be an adult and putting a little water on the fire, we gassed it up.
Right.
We're like, oh, maybe we can. And I'm like, well, I can come up with the words, and since you're an artist, it'll work out well.
You draw the pictures.
You draw the pictures. I'll come up with the taglines, and that's pretty
Maybe
much
we'll
how.
never get invited to another
This
one of these.
baby's gonna have the best book ever. It's gonna come out at the baby's wedding.
Exactly, and that's pretty much how our business relationship started. It's like, oh, you make it look pretty, and I'll make it sound good, and we're all great.
Speaking of businesses, how many businesses do you guys have together? Over 5 or something like that, right?
I mean, together or combined?
Let's say together. Let's go with you two working together on stuff.
8, 9.
I think we have like 4 or 5 together and 3 that are separate. We're not separate. We're married, so.
Right,
Yeah, so they're mine.
Yeah.
so
it's 8 to 0.
yeah, 0. Yes.
Who's
If
keeping
you
score?
read my book, you will see that portion in it too. Like the Eddie Murphy.
I would have if he read quicker.
God damn, 8, 9 businesses.
Something like that.
So
yeah.
what are they? Give us the breakdown of like, because I know the ones that Anthony
There's a
does for
couple
you
that are
guys.
private, but the public ones, my company,
Yeah,
my
right.
art company, my merch company, the TV company, your company.
Mhm.
I feel like there's a couple
They're
more.
missing something. I don't know.
It seems
the
like-
production company.
Oh, the production company.
Yeah.
It seems like you
Yeah.
need one more.
Like that.
Yeah, we
And
just-
you just
I mean,
need something.
The podcast.
But then we also have like the podcast,
Yeah.
and I'm writing books because we're bored.
Yeah. It seems like you don't have
It's
enough
not
to
enough.
You don't have
We
enough
need
to do.
more.
Yeah.
God
That's
damn.
that's a guinea thing.
Oh yeah,
That's a
yeah.
guinea. How many jobs you have? 3 jobs? How are you going to support your family on 3 jobs? Get another job, you loser.
do. So what is your what's your favorite business that you like really love?
I mean, honestly, what I love writing.
Right.
I mean, I love the writing part of it. So I like that. And I do like PR. I do like the creativity around being able to help somebody
Right.
grow their business.
That's
so.
awesome.
But it's mostly the writing side. So.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm 50% art, 50% showing off my butthole.
It's
It's
amazing.
all about the balance.
Me too, except I have not yet figured out how to get off DMs.
Yeah, he gets a lot of them. Mostly from Ghana, but
And they're dick pics, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
100%.
It's just me. It's just me from different accounts sending him in to make
That
us
looks
feel
familiar.
Yeah,
I
that
know
looks
that
the
mole.
It's a hell of a vein. God damn.
So how did you get into the business originally?
I was an art school dropout, and I did it to bang chicks and pay off my art school debt.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to do
had
that.
no game.
Right.
What'd you say?
I had no game, and I wanted to bang girls.
Okay.
So.
So you bisexual? You're attracted to women?
Yeah.
primarily? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I wanted to explore that side of me and do that whole thing. So it was fun. In a safe way, safe environment, and then the bonus was paying my rent on top of it. So,
Right.
you know.
And then did the business change?
In what way?
Just in any way?
Like in the sense of me, or like the sense of a business?
the
at all?
business in general.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I got in, it was very much controlled by production companies and
Right.
bigger companies. But I feel like it's swinging now into it's putting the power in performers, which is great.
Right.
It's very social media powered, and depending on how much a performer puts in work wise, as opposed to being like, oh, the phone will ring and I'll go shoot for this company. It's like now I'm producing my own content, doing my own thing.
Right.
So I love that. So I'm for it.
It's gone the same way pretty much all forms of entertainment have.
Yeah.
It's in the path of the content creator.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I feel
Even-
like porn just kind of has like a delay.
Yeah.
It's like whatever the rest of the world is doing, porn does like a couple months later.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting because it's clearly an enormous business, if
But
not
no
the
one
biggest.
watches porn.
No one watches porn.
Right.
No.
I mean, I am curious. I mean, about the business end on it. Obviously, I know the stuff you do on the web that is subscription based. Obviously, easy formula. But is all the stuff you could get online that's free from the million porn sites?
Mm-hmm.
Is that do you feel that way about that? The way musicians felt about Napster? Like, is that giving away the material for nothing, knowing that dudes don't need 45 minutes to
It's
get
not-
into a story?
It's different because when Tube Tube sites started, they were just ripping content. But
Right.
now you have like tube sites like Pornhub that pay us like a YouTube.
Right.
So it doesn't bother me as much. I just control what I put up. If there's videos that are put up of me that I don't want, that if I own the content,
Yep.
I can have it pulled down.
Right.
So it's kind of changing the same way that music is, where unless you're allowing the site to license it.
But they're free services, aren't they?
Yeah, they're free services, but like Pornhub, there's ad space, so
And,
that
and
people that are doing
subscriptions and stuff. Right.
yeah, and so people that are paying for ads are paying Pornhub, and in return, Pornhub gives the performers a
Right.
percentage based on.
And is it
views.
like a jump off point to
Yeah.
come to you directly,
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
As a performer, like I always put like a link to my website,
Right.
or I cross promote in some way, shape, or form. So you kind of have to get creative with it, but it's a nice. It's like it's like an ad in a way for
Right.
myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
If
of
you like
course.
this butthole shot, come look at the other ones on my website.
These are better.
Yeah, so it's like
You got to think of it kind of like any other lost leader. Is
Right.
almost what it is. It's like you're creating a need or a want in the marketplace, and not everybody. But it's 7.9 billion hits last year.
yeah.
Right.
7.9
Yeah, they
billion
get
hits.
300 million unique views a day,
Yeah. It's.
but
It's
no one
insane.
watches porn.
When I think about it, I'm a business guy, right? And I'm marketing too. So I look at it and think about like the marketing aspect of how is this business so big? Where are they making their money? How are the performers, like, are they getting ripped off? Is it like the old days? Well, I don't know the old days. I don't know the business, but
Yeah, there
is
are
it-
some tube sites, like you have like XNX and X Hamster, like they don't do jack shit for
Right.
performers. They just rip content and put it up. But you have like companies like Pornhub. Like I always tell people, if you're gonna steal or want to watch my free shit, go to Pornhub, because at
Right.
least they're paying me
Right.
from ad space.
So do you hear that, guys out
Yeah.
there? Go to Pornhub.
But what winds up happening
So-
is they become a fan of the person.
Right.
I mean, even all of the musicians who bitched and complain about it, but they still showed up to their concert.
Oh, sure,
Because
sure.
they ripped from Napster.
I mean, I'm in the merch business,
Yeah.
right? Like that's my main business. I do consumer products, right? And I've worked with every band that exists. Pick one, I probably worked with them on their consumer products, on their tour merch, on their retail stuff. And that's the only place, besides their cut of the tour, where they're making money
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Whether it's buying a T-shirt at Hot Topic or buying it at their concert at wherever, Madison Square Garden.
You think about it, there's so much free. There's everybody talking, oh my God, free, free, free. You got YouTube stars making $1 million.
Oh, it's
SoundCloud
insane.
rappers
Yep.
making more money than
Yeah, but
rappers
you-
who are signed.
You look at it like I use TikTok a lot,
Mhm.
and they allow you to use music
Right.
for free.
Yep.
And for a musician's perspective, it's great, because if you get one of your songs to become this like viral song that everyone's copying and making videos, it's free advertising. That'll transfer to you. That'll transfer to your own sales, your own merch. So
Mhm.
porn's kind of like a similar.
Right.
People watching it for free, and then you want to see more of that person. You like that performer, so you go to their social media, you go to their website, different.
And do you do appearances at like?
I used to, but
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's-
People too weird.
Nah, I mean, there's always weirdos, but there's also really cool fans. It just takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I mean, do those things pay?
Yeah, they pay
Well,
you.
no, I know they pay you, but
they
is it
pay you
like-
well. It's just like, with all the projects that we do,
Right.
it ends up taking up.
Too much time for its worth.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I still do some stuff in New York, and I make like special circumstance type stuff, but it's rare.
Right.
Your TikToks are hilarious, by the way.
I'm obsessed with TikTok.
Can I tell you? I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what it is.
It's pretty much Vine 2.0.
Is
in
that what
my
it is?
opinion. Yeah.
There's some weird fucking TikToks out there that
Yeah.
give me anxiety. And I
It's
don't
act.
like
It,
'em.
It's,
Yours are funny.
It was
but
music.
There's
It
some
was-
fucking weird
it was
ones.
musically, right? It was, and then
yeah,
they.
I think TikTok bought music.
Yeah, I liked it when it was musically better, and then TikTok. I have a very hard time figuring out the TikTok stuff.
Like the
'cause-
platform itself.
Yeah,
or-
like I just like musically better, and
the video.
whatever. I think there was more
editing
music
Isn't
on
the
it.
best.
Right.
You got to kind of like bounce around and
Yeah.
stuff. It's kind of pain in the ass. but-
it is pretty cool, and
find
everyone
it
is
funny,
obsessed.
though.
Obsessed.
Like, because the bouncing around can make it like really funny, like the cutting.
Oh,
back
yeah,
and
yeah,
forth.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just so.
I
it's
loved
so
Vine,
ridiculous.
so when I saw it, I was like, "This is
Yeah.
the next Vine."
I forgot about Vine. My God.
I never used Vine.
No.
I only can handle so much social media.
Yeah,
I was a
I know.
Vine whore.
Just another one to add
Yeah.
to the list.
How are you with all this stuff, like with the social media stuff?
Working
You have to,
PR.
right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So
I have to be up on all of them. Yeah.
it's like
What-
a necessary evil, right?
So you mentioned that you did like crisis PR.
At one point, yeah.
So
I mean, I did political crisis PR. That was a lot of fun.
what is that? Well, that sounds like a super specialty. Like, is that your forte, crisis, or is it just?
It still is. I mean,
Right.
I don't do it as much as I used to, but yeah, I was the guy you called when the shit hit the fan.
Right.
You know, and that's
You've probably worked with friends of mine.
may have. Yeah, I was the guy that people called, and in case you hadn't noticed, I'm not a shrinking violet, so I had no problem going on. You fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, being in a crisis PR situation is kind of, you know, everybody's like, oh, it's stressful. It's a little stressful, but it's also kind of freeing because you
Right.
basically can walk in the door and go, well, you got two choices. You can either listen to me or go fuck yourself and walk out the door.
Right.
You know, it's like this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
If you don't listen to me, you're on the bottom.
Right.
But you can jackhammer your way lower.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
you
Yeah.
know.
It's funny because I have, I've been in entertainment in different areas, basically my whole career, or sports, and I've had a few of my very close friends are sports agents or work at sports agencies, and it's very interesting when some shit hits the fan how they manage it, and you can tell very quickly the smart ones from the not smart ones on the way they handle it and what route they go, and then the guys that are willing to take it on the chin are the ones that always come out on the other side the best. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
So
I used to use the Animal House speech. I used to tell people, I used to get up and you have to say, this isn't about whether we broke a few rules or took advantage of our women guests, because we did. This is really about admit to what you did and change the damn subject.
Yeah.
Just keep
Did we
going.
give up when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, exactly. So, Animal House.
You
for
think
life.
that the PR world has changed the last
Dramatically.
few years since
Yeah. Social media.
social media, but like the whole Donald Trump philosophy of just pure denial.
No, I mean, look, we've always anybody that has a friend who's cheated on a spouse knows that you deny until you're but it
Right.
doesn't always work. I mean, it comes back to bite you in the ass at some point in time. Donald Trump being the exception to the rule.
Correct, right, but
the
he
exception to the rule. But
Yeah.
the PR business, I've been in this business since the '80s, and I remember when PR was dead, quote
Yeah.
unquote, and there was never, it was the birth of the ad agency and the marketing firm. That was,
Right.
Branding and marketing was going to be everything, and then social media came about. And now branding, marketing and everything, ad agencies died
right.
because you had to be social, and that's what PR guys. Our job is to sell a story to a reporter to sell our story,
Right.
not just hey, here's an ad.
Yep.
It's good. So now when you had social media, you had to figure out how to be social and sell yourself. PR firms started taking off like a bat out of hell. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, 'cause-
mid '90s, late '90s, the worm turned towards the PR firms. Now, God bless, now it's content management
Yeah.
and firms don't. There aren't even PR firms aren't PR firms anymore, and ad agencies aren't ad agencies anymore.
I mean, they're taking people that had cute little blogs talking about their DIY projects and making them into massive superstar brands.
Yeah.
I have a friend that is partners in a business that only manages influencers and Instagrammers and people like that, and they just sold their business about 6 months ago to UTA, and it's blown up. I mean,
Yeah.
it blew up. That's why they bought the business, and they manage, 100, 150 of the top influencers in the world, and I still have a hard time wrapping my mind around why I should pay someone $50,000 for one Instagram post to show off a sweater.
Yeah.
because that used to be $1 million in a television ad.
Totally. Absolutely.
With the same
But
eyes,
do you
same number of
think-
eyes.
Do you think it still works the same way? Like, do you think we get immune to seeing that stuff at this
I
point?
mean,
'Cause
at
it's
some
like,
points,
so many
yeah.
of you have asked about my skincare routine. Like, everyone hears that
But do you
now.
guys do
Does
that?
it really work?
We
Do
do
you?
some of it, yeah, absolutely. We definitely do it. What I've noticed, and I've been beating the drum, and it's become a lot more prevalent over the last couple of years, is millennials don't like produced content.
Right.
And millennials respect their peers. So the old days when, and I kind of lived this, the old days when Snoop Dogg went on SNL wearing a Hilfiger shirt, Hilfiger took off like a bat out of hell the next day.
Next day.
Snoop Dogg doesn't have that kind of power anymore.
Right.
However, the micro-influencer with 100,000 followers that have hardcore millennial fans because they're a millennial
Yeah.
comes out and says, hey, we should do this or you should buy this. People buy it.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Snoop Dogg. I have a friend, very very close friend, who's going to listen to this and appreciate this. He owns a company that does novelty eyewear, right? They're some of the coolest things. I don't know if I ever showed you them.
Yeah.
They're almost like a mask, but they're sunglasses. So you could put these sunglasses on, and now you're Batman, right? It's some very cool stuff. And Snoop got a hold of some of his glasses, and literally the last 3 or 4, maybe 6 months, every time you see Snoop Dogg out performing, he's wearing a pair of his captain, looks like a ship captain, pair of sunglasses. Never says anything about where they're from, doesn't ever plug the product. And to your point, it's not the old days, because if it was, kids would go out, hunt those sunglasses down, and he'd be selling 1 million pairs of sunglasses a week, and he's not. And I actually think it's very interesting that literally you can go and later pull up Snoop, you'll see him wearing these sunglasses. And it hasn't really meant a whole hell of a lot to this guy's business.
Yeah, no,
I think it's different now too, though, because you usually just pay a celebrity to wear something.
Right.
For me, if I like something, I'll just fucking post about it.
Yeah.
You know, like if
that's how
I
it
like
is,
an
though.
outfit, or if I like this, I'm like, fucking buy this. This is great. You know, but it's not just like, oh, they're paying me X amount of money.
Yeah, she
Here's
just posted
this.
from a lingerie store in East Village that she likes. The lingerie store, we're like, oh my god, do you mind if we repost that for field day? But you know,
Right. Yeah, I mean, organic is what,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I've dealt with PR agencies, and not PR agencies, but branded agencies that are selling me all these different brand things all the time, and they're always trying to sell me on setup shots. Always.
Yeah.
You know, you coming out of a store
Yeah.
wearing, you know, a
Yeah.
crop top Mountain
But
Dew
that's so
shirt
like
or something.
2002.
You know? Right, yeah. And then it's like,
so dated.
we're going to get it in People magazine, and it's
But
like,
no one reads People
and
magazine.
no one
They're
cares.
on Instagram.
It's like, and everybody
like,
knows it's full of shit.
Yeah,
Everybody.
the only person
Everybody.
that reads People magazines are like little old ladies getting their nails done.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
true.
I feel
It's
like now,
true.
if you just like, I feel like it would work if the person that you want to represent it likes the product.
Right.
Because then they're going to be genuine.
Yeah.
You and I are probably right on the cusp of that. If you're between 48 and like 52, you're right on the edge of that old school, new school, kind
Yeah.
of old advertising, new advertising. We remember the old days of
Yeah.
limited television stations
Yep.
and advertising. But what everybody started realizing is if I'm flipping through a magazine, or if I have the television on, that's passive. It's there, it's in my face.
Right.
I'm hoping the person on the other end is interested. If I'm on a social media platform of Dani Daniels, I know who those people are. I know they're interested in her. I know they've actively taken a role in her life.
Right.
They chose to follow her, so they are going to listen to her.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it's a
But I
much
feel
different
like-
world than, hey, chew Wrigley's gum.
I
you
also
know?
feel like my generation knows when it's bullshit and knows when it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, they grew up.
What-
They grew up
You
with
know,
reality
like, if
television,
I see
realizing
one-
it wasn't real.
Totally.
If I see one more fucking
Yes.
flat tummy tea ad, I'm gonna shoot myself. But you know, if a girl really likes a product or really likes a bikini because it makes her ass look great, it's believable.
Right.
What is your, I mean, obviously your demo is largely male. I don't know.
Actually, I'm 30% female.
I was going to ask, what is the
Yeah,
demo
I
of
she's-
female?
have a large female fan
She's
base.
20% higher than the average adult film star.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
I love fucking bitches.
Same.
And cut. We're done. That's the money. No.
That's it. All right.
No,
It's
but
on you
I
guys.
did start doing girl only because I do love fucking women, and so I think that I have a lot of a very strong female fan base because of that.
You also, there's also, everybody knows the difference between men being visual and women being emotional. She puts a lot of her life out there. She talks about the dog, she talks about being married, she talks about what she likes, she talks about her hobbies, she talks about her personality. Women are going to attach themselves
Right.
to that. Guys are just looking at an ass. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
it's,
I mean,
you know,
it's
I-
I
very-
do like a
dude.
lot of inspirational
No.
quotes that I
Right.
just
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm not. This is not any other thing but the truth. Like, I don't follow. You're the only person in that business that I follow,
Yeah.
right? And
Same.
I've looked at other people's, of course, and to me, it's just more. I mean, it just is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yours is not what you would think you would get on someone's site
Right.
like that. It just is.
I didn't,
Right.
I didn't want like
Yeah.
a page for like Dani as a character. I
Right.
wanted it to be like more real. If that makes any sense.
You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
tell.
That's like
You can tell.
actually
You can tell by
Right.
your
shit I'm
TikToks.
into, what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
it's
Yeah.
totally real.
And there are a
So-
couple of other adult film stars who are like that, like Asa. You know, they're
Yeah.
funny, they have personality, and it's not that the other ones don't have personality. It's just that they choose not to show
Yeah, like
it.
some people
Right.
just don't.
They just
want,
don't want their personal life, and we have friends who are like that. They're like, we don't want to show it, and it's like, I get it, but if you want somebody to attach themselves to you on a social media site, it has to be social, so they have to feel like they're having coffee with you in the morning.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
That's really what it kind of has to come down to.
Do you have both? Do you guys do both? Like, do you have social for your character and then for you?
I have a different like Instagram and I think Twitter for my art, just
Right.
because I didn't want.
To mix it.
Yeah, it just there's nothing sexual about my art, so I
Right.
wanted to keep it kind of separate.
No,
I think
but,
it's sexy as fuck, but that's.
but
you love
like
her,
my
so,
personal account
right?
is
Right.
the Dani Daniels account.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's what I was saying. The first when I went to your page, when Anthony was telling about you guys, he was like, "Check her out on Instagram. Check out Vic." I'm like, "All right." Look at your page, and one of the first things I saw was a TikTok of
Oh,
you.
no.
It was I'll never forget it because I was like, "This is fucking hilarious." It was like, what you think it's like being married to a porn
Oh
star?
yeah.
And you're like
Bumping
all
the couch.
sexy, and then it's like, "What's it really like?" And she was like in sweats.
Yeah.
bumping
Yeah,
the
that's
corner of the
that was
couch.
awesome.
I was like, "She's fucking great.
Yeah,
This is
that's-
hilarious."
That's how I am in real life. Like that's literally.
When you guys go out, right? Like you guys go to dinner, I'm sure like everybody else all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have casual conversations with people waiting at the bar to get a table and stuff, and it naturally comes up, what do you guys do? What do I do? What do you do? What do you tell people?
Well, it depends on the day.
No, it's like
Depends on my mood.
Literally,
really.
when we were in, we wound up in London.
Right.
First, my first trip to London, we went there, and I fell in love with the city. London is New York with a better accent.
Right.
And,
I actually agree with you.
It's literally New York with a better accent.
Proper.
And they get drunk at 5:01 as opposed to 9:01.
5:01, like 12:01.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have lunchtime beers
They have
on
lunchtime
the
beers,
clock,
exactly.
and it's amazing.
You're getting up in the morning to have breakfast. There's a couple of guys with a
Yeah.
pint, and I'm like, I love this town.
Yeah.
But anyway, we wound up in this bar, and we're standing there, and it was we were mob.
I
It
was
was
like,
mob.
what story are you
Right.
telling?
We were at the Lamb and the Flag, which is like one of the oldest pubs. Dickens went there, and she's
Yeah.
like, "We gotta go." We went there. We wound up hanging out with these guys, and they were laughing, and we were joking around, and it was mob. So there was a guy who was standing next to me, and he was kind of like big and bald like me, and we were just kind of like guarding her, basically, kind of put her in front of us, and we were just like, "Oh, this is where
Just
people
because there
were
was like a lot of people.
just
and-
banging into her," and we're like, "Yeah, let's just so we were laughing
Because they
about it.
recognize you, or just
No,
No,
just
no,
like
just in
the
general.
bar was just really full.
And
Gotcha.
the guy screwed up, and he's like, "Oh, is this your your son?"
No, he goes, "Are you guys father and
So
son?"
were you guys father and son? So, being that we were in London, his friend
Right.
leaned in, didn't let he wouldn't let this guy he tore into him, and we were laughing our asses off. I'm like, no, this is my wife. We just got married a little while ago. The guy was laughing. He's like, so what do you do? She turned around. She went, porn. He went, no, seriously. She went, porn. Here's my Instagram name, and he looked it up. And he went, holy shit! And I was just like.
Yeah, it depends on where I am. Like if I'm
Depends on-
surrounded, like if I'm in an environment where it wouldn't be appropriate,
Right.
I'll just say, I'm an entertainment or performer, and
Right.
people keep
Or an
asking,
artist.
like, do you really want to know? Because
Yeah.
Or
I guess you have to
Fucking
read the
judgy.
situation.
yeah,
Yeah,
you have
read
to
the
read
room.
it. Right.
Read the room.
Yeah.
But does it ever creep you out? Like either one of you? Like
I mean, if you read the book, it surprises me sometimes how much people know about us.
Right.
And I mean, it's flattering in a way that anybody gives a fuck, especially in this day and age. But
Right.
it is somewhat surprising when people are like, oh man, I just saw you guys were in Italy.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that also
okay.
comes from like me posting
Yeah.
everything on my social media.
Right.
So.
But I'm always surprised at how engaged they are.
do you ever catch people, like if you're in a
Oh,
restaurant or
constantly.
something, like see you and they're
I
like,
never see it, and he always. I like don't. I'm so antisocial in real life. Like I don't pay attention to shit. Like in my own little world, and he just rolls his eyes.
Oh, there are a couple of things that I love. First of all, we got recognized at the Vatican.
it's amazing.
On our way out of the Vatican, going into St. Peter's, a guy decides he wants a photo. So there's St. Peter's on one side, St. Peter's Square on the other,
I was
and
like,
I'm like,
did you want a fast track ticket to hell?
I was like, okay.
I got recognized at
Nah, that's just
Popeyes.
not
took-
real.
yeah,
It doesn't
I-
matter.
I told her, I
That shit
said,
ain't
listen,
real.
I said, if there's one thing that, we get stopped all the time, literally all the time. We got stopped on a mountaintop in Montepulciano. We get stopped everywhere. I was like, just once, I just wanted the cardinal with the full red regalia to go, hey, Dani Daniels, and just keep walking. I mean, it would have made my day.
But
Would have
that-
made my day. But no, I couldn't have that. I got.
That has to tell you something about obviously the power and size of the business.
Oh, and it's
Right?
every
Like-
shape, size, age. It's not just 23-year-old guys.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
everything. Yeah, it's
In their
guys,
dorm
girls,
room.
you name it. I mean, we've had there were honestly, I can't even think of. I can count on a hand in 3 years the amount of times that it was problematic. Most of the time, she's very courteous and nice, and they ask for a photo and they move on, and they're always
Oh,
you
yeah.
know
As
they
long
don't
as
they're not
you don't,
annoying.
like, make
they're
a
fine,
scene,
you know,
I'll
so-
always stop and take a picture
Yeah.
and say hi and
Right.
whatever. I mean, like I'm thankful for every single one of my fans. I'm not gonna be a dick.
No,
but
of course.
If someone like started like saying something vulgar or being obnoxious, then I'd probably tell them to go fuck themselves. But luckily,
So-
knock
As
on
you
wood,
should.
that's never happened.
As you should.
We have this this love of Disney. We'll go to Disney World and Disneyland, and a lot of times we'll make sure that we're in Disney World or Disneyland before we have to go to an adult convention. This way we yin and yang it.
That's the second reality show I would like to produce.
Oh,
You guys take over Disneyland.
Oh yeah, porn
So-
stars love Disneyland.
I mean-
It's like in our blood. We love animals. We love to own all the animals.
yeah.
And we love to go to Disney. I don't
Because
know what it
it's
is.
the happiest place on earth, and it's literally the opposite of everything that you're expecting in life. Right? So
Yeah, I guess it's like balance. Like
it's So
don't
Yin
know.
and yang.
my favorite thing in Disney is walking past and seeing the father with the wife and the kids.
And he's like,
Notices her and doesn't look in her direction, but you can literally see the tear in his eye as he's straining in the peripheral vision to grasp, as he's like gripping the white
With his
beam,
family.
like you can see his knuckles turning white on the carriage, and he's shaking. Like, I just want to look and I can't. It's
with their
my favorite moment.
matching Etsy shirts.
Yeah, the it's like the Griswold strip to. It's oh my god.
Blood dripping out of his ears.
Oh yeah, and it's just like you
A tooth just disintegrated.
you just know he just so desperately wants to come over and say something, and his life would be over.
over.
Yeah.
That's gotta
I mean,
be
I wouldn't
amazing.
The old-
care.
the old
Your
days-
wife would.
The old days it was
Which
the
is so funny because, like, who cares?
yeah, most
I
wives
just that was the chapter I started today was the chapter on porn.
Yeah.
About how like I think Facebook is involved more so
yeah,
with divorces than
Facebook's
porn.
mentioned more, probably a long shot mentioned more divorces than porn. The old days you used to get caught with porn in the VCR. Now it's your browser history.
Yeah.
Either way you get in court.
Yeah.
So somewhere this guy is like,
Yeah,
just
but I
dying.
I feel like flirting with somebody that you know is way worse than watching porn.
I
would much rather you watch all the porn
Oh,
all
then
the
like
time.
say like
Yeah,
obviously,
if you-
than like
he
flirt
flirts
with your
one of your
secretary.
friends or
Yeah,
you're flirting with one of his
yeah,
friends.
that's
like,
so emotional. You know.
very different.
Just
And
go.
in-
Yeah, if you
and
want
in
to go
real
watch
life.
a girl get banged, enjoy yourself.
If your
But-
husband or your wife is on the road and they're a salesperson and they're in a hotel room, do you want them down at the bar talking to the hot guy or girl, or do you want them, doing the
Right.
5 fingers
Watch
upstairs,
my videos on Pornhub.
saving marriages, one video at a time? It's like
For
That's
real,
a good
man.
Pornhub T-shirt.
it's saving marriages.
That'd be fucking dope. God damn.
Actually, our friend Phoenix Marie, actually her slogan on her Instagram is "Saving marriages one scene at a time."
I love the fucking like just the honesty. Like I found out like the thing as I get older, and I'm only 31, but like as I've gotten older, just people's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like you like again, this book was so very direct, and you were like you.
I
seem
don't
like,
think you'd like LA very much.
No, I don't think I will. See, I want to go to the Comedy Store. That's it. I want to go to the
Yeah.
Comedy
Comedy
Store.
Just go to the
I wanna
comedy
see
cellar
that.
here; it's better.
That's what. That's all I really want.
Wait, which one is on the main?
Comedy
On
store
Sunset.
is on
Which is
Sunset,
one
Sunset.
where people just show up?
Sunset.
Well,
yeah.
both. But Comedy Store's on
Which
Sunset.
is on Sunset, which is by the
Comedy Store.
Rainbow Room.
Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
my
think
favorite.
I don't like the fakeness. That's why I like reading this book and like
Is
you
the
guys
improv
talking
still
about.
out there?
Yeah, it's on Santa Monica.
Because none here though.
Okay.
The improv here is gone.
I think so.
Yeah.
Really?
The improv and Catch a Rising Star is gone, but Comic Strip and Comedy Cellar is still here.
Right.
Do you guys go to those?
You can get hummus
Well,
and then
we
go
do-
downstairs and watch comedy.
We do our
Podcast.
podcast
Oh, yeah.
at the Comedy Strip. Yeah, we do our
I
podcast.
Oh
knew
yeah,
it.
thank you for leaving. It's
It's
actually
really-
really good.
It's awesome. I used to go there all the time and not go downstairs. I would just go eat at
What?
this. It's like a Middle Eastern restaurant that the Comedy Cellar is actually part
Yeah,
of.
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
downstairs.
And it's like really
Well,
good food.
It's not Cafe Wa, is it?
No. Cafe Wa.
You've
is
talked
the-
about that multiple times.
I grew up
Used to
going
go
to
there all the
Cafe Wa.
time.
Cafe
Only
Wa.
place I could drink under 21 when I was in high school with all my friends. We would go to
Listen.
Cafe Wa, drink,
Probably
listen to the
shouldn't do it,
band.
but-
Jimi Hendrix played at Cafe Wa. That's
Sure
all you
did.
need to know.
Owned by David Lee Roth's uncle.
Yep.
God damn, dude.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm too young.
I like
don't
hummus.
know any of those shit.
I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
one of the
like,
few
I'm
people
old.
actually
You're like,
don't
never
like
mind.
hummus.
Really?
Never
Baba
mind.
Ganoush?
Yeah, it tastes like flavored spackle. I'm not a big
What
fan.
is
Hummus?
hummus? Oh, yeah, you hate
You don't
It's
like hummus?
fun.
I mean, I don't hate it, but I'm not. It's like flavored spackle.
Hummus can be good or it can be really
Flavored
not
spackle.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's
All
gonna
right,
be
get
the name
fuck
of this.
outta
That's gonna be the name of this episode. Hummus,
here. Flavored spackle.
flavored spackle. Hummus and flavored spackle, all in one word.
I like it.
It's a great one.
I'm down. Works for me.
Dude, you guys
Oh
are
my God.
fucking hilarious.
Did you see this week's podcast?
No.
Okay, so this week we
With
had
Jim Norton.
Yeah, Jim Norton.
I saw a clip on his.
Yeah, we saw Jim Norton on, and the funny part about it is I don't know how it happened, but Jim Norton and I got on a rant
Oh my
about
God.
Jamie Farr, Klinger, and MASH, and about 5 minutes in, Norton's like
it's like 5 minutes,
Yeah,
like
just-
10 minutes.
It's like Norton's like, yeah, a bunch of people are tuning in because of Dani Daniels' ass, and they'll be tuning right out after this episode. Like,
And
die.
meanwhile, I'm saying they're like, what the fuck is MASH?
Who's Jamie Farr?
I was going to ask, do you even know what MASH is?
No. I remember
don't know.
seeing it's like black and white, and I remember
Yeah.
seeing like the
No, it's
beginning
color.
credits.
It's in color.
Oh, it is?
But I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
It's the
There was
army.
one episode that was black. 2 episodes that were black and white.
All right, that was the one I saw.
Wasn't it the longest
I don't
running
know.
television show ever?
No,
No, most viewed season finale.
most viewed season finale. I think the longest is SVU, right?
It's something-
Oh, it's either
Law and
SVU
Order.
or Law and Order.
CSI. Oh, Law and Order.
I
Yeah.
think that's Simpsons, actually.
The Simpsons is, but that's if you include when they were in the Tracy Ullman show.
Oh.
I think. But the longest running non-cartoon, it was either Gunsmoke or Law and Order. I think passed it before it went off the air.
I feel like Law and Order.
Yeah, Law and Order was Gunsmoke was on for
What
like
about
20
Judge
years.
Judy? I feel like Judge Judy's been on as long as I've been alive.
It could be. I don't know if
How
those
old
count.
are
Those
you?
are like
Are you my
I don't
age?
think they
30.
do.
31. Okay. Yeah. so we're
Did you
the
have a
same
panic
age.
attack when you turned 30?
I
No.
No.
I found that I actually was in the city for my 30th. We stayed at the Roxy Hotel. We went out someplace and we went to like a salsa bachata club. It was great. I like turning 30.
Yeah.
I
same.
feel I'm only 31, but I like my 30s way more than my 20s.
I feel like people respect you a little bit more. Like
It's
when
not-
you're
it's
in
not
your
even
20s, they're
that.
like, oh, you're in your 20s.
I don't remember that at all.
That's true, but like I just you feel more you know,
30
you know who
was
you
the
are.
only one I hated.
Really?
Yeah, 30 was the 40 I didn't care. 50 I was actually happy about.
If I
Because I
gave
was-
you 100 guesses, you would never guess where I threw my 30th birthday party for,
Chuck E. Cheese.
for myself. You're very close.
Really?
You're
Oh,
very
what's
close.
the other
You're-
one that's an East Coast thing?
No,
It's like
Chuck E. Cheese
Pizza
is here.
Planet or whatever. With like they have.
Dave and Buster's?
No, you're on the right track. It'll blow those away though. You want to guess, and then I'll tell you.
The ground
McDonald's?
round.
The
play
ground
place?
round.
You like that? I pulled that one out of my ass. The ground
The
round.
popcorn
With
instead
the
of
peanuts
bread.
on the floor.
Yes.
Medieval
So many
times.
birthdays.
Yeah.
So,
Wow,
I would go
that's a
there
Jersey
now.
thing.
oh my God.
That's a
So
Jersey thing.
I went with like a huge 30, 40 of my friends for my 30th birthday. Mainly because the year before I threw myself a raging 29th birthday party. So I figured, how am I going to follow it up? Medieval times. So
good.
there's a king. He's at the end. You know, he's announcing birthdays and anniversaries. And he's like, it's Sid and Javon's 88th wedding anniversary. And it's Billy's 12th birthday. And he's like, and it's Greg's 30th birthday.
Fucking nerd.
30th birthday? What are you doing here?
Did he say that?
Yeah. Our entire section, which was all my friends, went ballistic.
Oh my God.
So I followed it up with my 40th birthday at the same place.
Perfect.
Oh, you should have
So
done the
good.
Red Fair in
And
Tuxedo.
yeah, oh my God, that is insane.
I love that place.
Ren Fair?
The Ren
Oh
Fair in
my God.
Tuxedo is awesome.
Is this a restaurant or like the?
No,
actual
No,
It's
it's
a
a
Renaissance
real
fair,
Renaissance
yeah.
fair
okay.
at
Yeah.
Sterling Forest
Yeah.
in Tuxedo, New York.
Tuxedo, New York.
Yeah.
We went to the one out in
I
LA,
thought you
which
were
was
saying
pretty
go
damn
to a
close.
Ren Fair
Really?
in a tuxedo.
No, no.
It was so confusing.
Well, you could do that too.
McKenna joke.
Yeah, I should. This is what I need. I need material for the stage.
But my
I need
40th
material.
was much different than my 30th because everybody had like kids and it was
Very different.
It made much more sense at that point.
All right.
Anyway,
So good.
So we have 6% left on this laptop. So what's yeah, I'm an idiot. I don't know why. It's just fully charged this morning. So what's next for you guys? You had the book out. You got 9,000 businesses.
We're doing season 2, Dinner
looks
with
like-
Danny.
Season 2 dinner.
That's
with
on
Danny.
Amazon,
That's on
correct?
Yeah.
Amazon.
Okay.
Season 1 we had a lot of great guests.
Yeah, saw.
I mean, we had
Pretty dope.
Gilbert Gottfried was the season finale, which was freaking awesome. And then season 2 of that we have
Our podcast.
The podcast is just going to be ongoing.
Which,
Two onions.
Which Vic didn't
Two
want to
onions.
do.
Yeah, which I didn't
I
want to do.
forced him into via blowjobs.
Dude, you're
Yeah.
That's how I got it.
that's it's exactly how he got me.
Beware of the blowjobs, Caesar.
I was like, all right, I'm in. It's fine.
And then she's got a couple of. She shot with a bunch of pretty prominent photographers, and we're doing a bunch of coffee table books that we'll be
Oh,
doing
that's
next
one
time.
I forgot about.
The coffee table books,
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry.
So one of them, and if you're listening, I'll make sure you're listening. Mick Rock. I don't know if you guys.
Oh my
know
God,
Mick.
really?
Mick shot Kira. Yeah.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
And Mick is, if you ever seen the any David Bowie photo you know is him. he shot them all.
Wow.
And more, well
yeah,
more.
Lou Reed, Iggy Pop, but the one that's been
Joan Jett,
the one that's been out there a lot lately is he shot the Bohemian Rhapsody photos for Queen. He was the one who shot that whole series. He was also the set photographer for the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which most people don't know.
So this guy is a real.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, you name him, he shot him.
Who else did you shoot with? Who else shot you?
She shot Antoine Verglas, Udo Spritzenbarth. We had Andre Mete, and then we have one more that we're looking at. We're trying to decide on.
Right.
So it'll be 5 different coffee table books, and
One book by each of them.
One book by each
that's
of them.
pretty awesome.
And the general theme of the book starts off with, it's called Dani on Your Coffee Table,
Right.
and it's her sitting on a coffee table. So we kind of stole the Seinfeld coffee table book about coffee tables. Only we put a person on the coffee table.
Who's way better
It's
looking
like
than Jerry
literally,
Seinfeld.
I was literally binge watching Seinfeld. Like, what if
And
I did
drinking
like
scotch.
a coffee table book
Yeah.
and like also got naked? Would people like that?
Probably.
I
The
mean-
answer
And then
is
she's
probably.
like, you think you can get photographers? I'm like, well, Mick's a friend of mine. And she's like, no way. We met with him, and he's like, oh, Mitch, no problem. It's like, okay, we're good.
God damn.
That's
Well,
awesome.
We stay busy.
Well,
And then also like, my website.
Yeah, and my PR business, and I'm actually writing 2 more books and a few other
God
things.
damn,
we're
dude.
I have some Xanax. If you guys need any, maybe.
He doesn't sleep.
I'm an insomniac. I don't sleep, so
Yeah.
she
I
comes
don't
up with
either.
these crazy
I
ideas, and I
fucking
figure out how to
sleep.
make them work. So
I thought I did a lot of shit, but man, you guys kill me.
yeah, you gotta stay dynamic, or you're dead.
No kidding. Amen.
I feel you, dude. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming down.
Glad to.
Like, for real. Because you
That's
didn't
fun.
have to. You came to this random ass apartment.
Thanks for not kidnapping
to
me.
hang-
Yeah, and thanks for not
I
having.
was like, are we going to buy drugs?
5 guys
3
from
knobs.
Ghana
There's,
in the
two, there's
background.
2 couches.
They
There's
just,
all
in the
mirrors.
defense,
just
of,
Dan's
in,
like,
in my defense for anyone listening, we are across the street from Lincoln Center.
And actually, we're big opera buffs, so we're in Lincoln Center all the time.
No, it's actually like a very nice apartment.
Yeah.
But it was like,
Except for the 6
Just
guys
maybe
from
like-
Ghana in the back room.
So we're not going to bring them
oh
out.
my
Yeah.
God,
come on out, guys.
a stack of iTunes cards in the corner.
I love my personal favorite in that whole Ghana scam is she'll talk about Ghana and someone will be like, why are you being racist about Ghana? It's got nothing to do with racism, dude. That's
fucking
where it
hate
happens.
Are you kidding?
That's where it happens. Sorry, I didn't pick the country that this occurred in.
Or
You
my
picked
favorite
us.
is all like, I'm very vocal about it because it is like a huge problem and I try to talk about it a lot so that hopefully people don't fall for it.
Right.
And then I'll like post something. Like I did a stupid Ghana TikTok and someone comments, why are you lying, Jessica? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's unbelievable. I mean, you literally, there's no joke. If you Google Dani Daniels, a wiki page will come up. It will have her real name on it. It will have that she's married to me on it. And it literally has a paragraph that says, scammers from Ghana have been using her photos. It literally
Oh, that's
on-
my other favorite.
on
Is
wiki.
This week I had a guy tell me, if if you're telling the truth, then who's this? And it's a photo of my wiki page with Kira. I'm like, do you think my fucking mother named me Dani Daniels? It is not my legal name.
And the wiki page literally said Dani Daniels, the stage name of.
Yes, I was like, are you?
It's the first fucking 3 words. The stage
Yeah.
name
Well,
of
the
forward.
take
Like-
home,
Stage
the
name
take
of.
home here today is that people are smart, and
Sometimes you just can't fix stupid.
Here's the other one. Google
But I try.
Google Dani Daniels Ghana. Literally, just those
Yeah.
3 words, and you will have 5 Google pages
That's
of
insanity.
this scam.
Yeah, it's like, but I
5
want,
Google pages.
I want to help people, and I want people not to fall for it. But it gets to a
Please.
point where you're like, I can't literally do anything else.
Yeah.
Oh well.
oh my god,
I think we'll have a lot to talk about on the next one.
Yes.
a lot.
And on the next episode,
I'll bring my charger this
Continue.
time. I'm dumb. It's cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you. This was amazing.
Yeah, this was really good. I was just listening to you guys talk about PR and stuff, and I was like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But
That's how I felt about MASH.
Jamie Farr and PR. Here we go. We're all good.
Like, oh,
Me and
boy.
you in our 30s were like, yeah,
that's
cool. Remember TRL? Carson Daly? You know that?
Like jam.
Didn't he take over for Dick Clark?
I think so.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Who
we
the
love
fuck
you
is
guys.
Dick Clark?
All right.
I don't know,
We'll
but-
end on that before his
Because-
fucking computer dies.
Because he's gone now, we have Dickless New Year's.
Oh,
Dick.
I know who that is. All right.
Sorry, I had to end on a dad
All right,
joke.
guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.